With a Countdown Online Extra, and my guest is Janeane Garofalo, who I back announced, giving you credit on the air during the show for a show that was canceled.
Yes, it was on the bubble, as they say, and then it was canceled.
Are you disappointed by this?
I'm always disappointed not to have a job, but I can't honestly say that the content of the show was my cup of tea.
It was one of the 45 million investigative forensic things.
Well, there's only a couple, right? There's only a
couple of franchises.
There's only a couple of franchises, right? We do need more crime procedurals, more legal procedurals, shows about doctors who care. That would be nice if somebody could do a show about a doctor who cares about things and people.
While he's doing some sort of investigative forensic.
And can actually go to your apartment and look for clues.
That's right.
I don't know how you can do that, but they do that on House. They go to your apartment and look for clues. And no one minds.
I wanted to talk about some of the news of the day.
Sure.
Particularly as it relates to the last time we sat down 2 years ago, where you aired out the then nascent Tea Party and called them what they were.
Racist.
And you called them that, and I think this is still resonating in that community as if you said it yesterday.
White House. This is racism straight up. That is nothing but a bunch of tea-bagging rednecks. And they.
Yeah.
Do you take pride in this?
Well, I do not enjoy when people don't like me. Yeah. I would prefer to be well-liked in any and all situations. And I also feel it's quite unjust to be punished for calling racism racism.
After we impeach Clarence Thomas, what do we do with him? Let's keep it real.
Put him back in the fields.
Impeach Clarence Thomas.
And then what? And then what?
Revolution now, just like in Egypt. Let's go to Applebee's.
What do you say we do with Clarence Thomas after we impeach him?
Bad things.
Like what?
I don't know, because I'm all about peace, but I would say torture.
Nice. We impeach Clarence Thomas. What do we do with him?
What do we do with him? String him up. And his wife, too. Let's get rid of Ginny.
And then what?
Start all over. Scalia? Who are the other assholes? I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
Yeah.
String him up, eh?
String him up.
No coke,
Thomas, his wife, Scalia, Roberts. Oh my God.
After we impeach Clarence Thomas, what should we do with him?
Redheads for the environment.
I can't say that. I don't want to be on camera saying that.
Saying what? You can say anything. We're all friends. Hang up.
And I don't know why so few people, especially back then, a couple of years ago, were willing to say that word. It is unfortunately not only a part of the fabric of this country from its founding, racism, not just our country, but there's been oppression in any country, any era. There has been racism in our country since its founding. It would be odd if it didn't exist now that we have a black president. That would be weird. And when anybody says to me, what makes you think the Tea Party is racist? What makes you think they aren't? How is it that one of the first Tea Party gatherings was on inauguration?
Thank you very much. I want to start also by honoring the service of our veterans, our current service members, our Gold Star parents. Thank you so much for what all you've done for this country. I also want to say a little history lesson here. Back in 2000, there was a budget surplus in the country. And during the next 8 years, it was destroyed by the profligate spending of the Bush administration. And so here we are today in a situation where we have to cheer if you make less than $250,000 a year. Just cheer. Your taxes are going to be cut under the current budget. Congratulations. I was laid off in September because my employer had to make budget cuts. That was before the election, okay? So let's remember that if you're going to argue about lower taxes and less spending, to place the blame where the blame belongs, and that's squarely in the hands of the Republican Congress until 2000. And the Bush administration.
White House. This is racism straight up. That is nothing but a bunch of tea-bagging rednecks.
What job that he had been doing were they upset with?
Didn't like the transition.
Apparently, how is it that the Southern Poverty Law Center has been tracking spiking in these hate groups and racist motivated crimes since he announced, you know what I mean, all this activity? If John McCain had won, we would have never heard the word Tea Party. Now, some of it is because of a Democrat, and as you know, the blood sport of the Republicans is to be intractably against anything a Democrat would say. But if it was a white Democrat, you couldn't get so many Tea Party people so upset about whatever it is they're upset about, showing up armed to town hall meetings. And by the way, if a black person showed up armed at a town hall meeting where a white politician was speaking, we'd be on lockdown, martial law, and we'd never hear the end of it.
Really? I'll give you a card. Yeah, buddy, I am no longer going to sit around and listen to these ridiculous people attempt to overtalk. Believe me, I came from a black culture. And if you've ever, oh no, that's right, we have a black president now. Isn't he great in the way he speaks? Talks over your head.
How much do you think teachers make?
I don't care how much teachers make.
You think you're here to drive down wages? Is that it?
All I know is that the teachers,
$6 an hour too much?
All I know is that the teachers that I had in school refused to teach me what I wanted to know.
So that's why you're here.
I'm here because
I've been teaching 14 years. I make $40,000 a year. Is that too much? Hey, I'm a veteran.
Let me ask you something.
I went from the military to education. Am I making too much money?
This is what I tell people that have arguments like you about how much you make.
Yeah.
You got two choices, my friend. You can quit. You can quit and get another job.
So what's your point?
My point is
everybody should work for minimum wage?
Everybody should maybe think about how to create business, create their own living. I've been an entrepreneur ever since I was 12 years old,
and
I'm living by myself, paying my rent.
How are teachers going to create their own living in the classroom?
If you're such a good teacher, how come you can't answer that for yourself?
I'm creating.
He's sitting here teaching.
He's not teaching.
That are going to run this government. He needs to be paid equally for the education they are receiving.
As far as I'm concerned, you should be fucking fired.
That's your problem. Is you're an entrepreneur, so you don't work. That's your problem.
I don't work.
You don't know what work is until you get into an educational area.
Keep it civil. Keep it down. So wait a minute.
Well, did you learn that on your own? That's great.
I should go into the classroom and ask the kids for wages.
A tea party, just like you, Tommy. That's the problem. You're uneducated, unethical, immoral, and you don't know what life is. That's your problem.
Well, obviously, I got your attention because you're over here trying to convince me otherwise.
Why don't you go behind that fence where you belong?
I'll stand right where I'm at as long as I want.
I just asked you a simple question.
Got it?
Why don't you go back to your house?
I'm having a really good time right here.
Notice all my brothers and sisters that stand here, and yours are down there.
You're missing your rally. Why don't you go over there and cheer with all the rest of your buddies, since that's why you came down here.
I asked you a question. Do you have any children?
Do I need children?
That you claim.
Do I need children to understand what's going on?
You need children to understand education.
No, I don't.
What did you mean when you said that he claims?
I've got enough.
What did you mean when you said, does he have any children that he claims? What did you mean?
What do you mean by that, ma'am?
Because he's such a free spirit entrepreneur, I would assume he's not.
You assume?
I would assume that he's not supporting children. He hasn't said anything about
scout leader.
Yeah,
You're assume.
Yeah, I'll assume because
you know what assuming does.
Children.
You ever heard of assuming?
Take care of yourself, man.
That's right.
You don't
know
about
crap about me
else.
and who I take care of.
I ask you.
It's none of your business.
I ask you.
As if.
Yes,
Who are
it
you?
is my business.
If I have
You are out
children,
here
if I have a
dissing.
mom, if I have a dad,
You
if
are
I have...
dissing people who are just trying to
I
make
am-
a living
Hey,
and
those
support
people down
their
there are
children.
trying to make a living and support their children. They're the people that are trying to give you jobs so you will have a place to go to earn a living.
No.
Yes,
they
that exactly.
have jobs.
Those are they're the ones that have jobs because they're the ones that go out and create the job.
Being your free spirit and
They
you don't give a
create it.
damn about
Oh, of course we
anybody
don't.
else.
Absolutely not.
Well, I haven't heard one single
we don't
word
care about anybody
that would
right
give you
now.
an idea
We
that
don't
you care about
about
anybody
money.
else
That's what you care
besides
about.
yourself.
Thanks. Keep it civil. Ken said don't let them intermingle unless they got the permit.
I'm not a racist.
No, you made some really interesting. You made some fantastic.
I am not a racist.
No, you're not at all. You made some fantastic points, and I'd love to get your name for.
Linda Sari.
From Denver?
S-A-R-I, from Denver.
And are you
I don't even know a union person.
You don't know any union people?
I don't even know any union
Ah.
people. I'm just here to support Americans.
And it's clearly a limbic brain thing. It's not a populist movement. It's not a fiscally upset movement. It's
a movement, and that's the rationalization that it's something other than racism.
Right.
It doesn't have to make any sense to anybody but them, and
Right.
they reach for it. It's like, okay, we don't like them because of health care reform, which helps all of us. Here
Which we would benefit from.
Exactly.
Yeah.
A self-defeating thing.
Death panels, birthers,
Right.
the birth certificate, this nonsense. And from what I've heard, John McCain actually was not born in this country. Is that right? He
Born in
wasn't-
the Canal Zone.
He was born.
So he technically is. That's considered.
But what
part
I'm
of it.
saying
But
is he technically wasn't born
he
in
was not born
America.
in. He was not born in the continental United States.
Right.
Right.
I don't know who has a problem with that.
Well, isn't that not the essence of the Republican sort of mirror, that anything that they're actually that anybody in the Republican Party or conservative movement is guilty
you accuse the other
exactly.
of it. Right.
When we took our trip to Africa and visited his home country in Kenya, we took a public HIV test for the very point of showing folks in Kenya that there is nothing to be embarrassed about in getting tested. And we did it as a couple.
And this young man named Barack Obama got one of those tickets and came over to this country. And he met this woman whose great-great-great-great-grandfather had owned slaves. But she had a different idea. There's some good craziness going on, because they looked at each other and they decided, we know that in the world as it has been, it might not be possible for us to get together and have a child. But something's stirring across the country because of what happened in Selma, Alabama, because some folks are willing to march across a bridge. And so they got together, and Barack Obama Jr. was born. So don't tell me I don't have a claim on Selma, Alabama. Don't tell me I'm not coming home when I come to Selma, Alabama. I'm here because somebody marched for our freedom.
Rick Santorum with his comments about...
One can only guess
How
what...
about Rick Perry? We have to stop apologizing to liberals for our beliefs. We have to stop trying to curry favor with them.
Yeah, that's right.
It is absurd to me to, and he knows he's lying, the liberal media trope. That has always been a myth that is leveled at someone, and unfortunately, a lot of people in the media will back away from being perceived as many.
Many?
Right. All.
Hi,
Until recently.
Right here. I'm the liberal media.
Right. Until recently, and like The Nation, when they say that great liberal media bias you can't find anywhere else.
Exactly.
There is no liberal media bias. There's never been a liberal president. There's never been a liberal machine in power, per se. And you're quite right. Anything that the right-wingers are doing you will know what they're doing by what they accuse their opponent of doing.
An illegitimate president. This is an illegitimate president.
Right.
What is that? That is a mirror of George Bush and the election.
Who was installed in a legal Supreme Court by Antonin Scalia and Clarence Thomas should have recused themselves since they had family members working on the Bush campaign.
Exactly. Now that's an interesting topic. Family members and the Supreme Court, particularly Clarence Thomas, and his wife, who is this sort of...
She's a Tea Party activist.
She's a rabid Tea Party activist and
Explain
fundraiser.
that one to me. Now, you have an African-American gentleman married to a white woman who is in cahoots with a group that has a lot of racists in it. Is that Stockholm Syndrome on his part, or what's going on?
You just explained why they're not actually racists. The answer to every answer that I got from any group that was associated with the Tea Party to the interview we did 2 years ago was, look at this videotape, look at how many black people we have in our Tea Party.
How many did they have?
But it did make a difference. That's not the answer. The answer is you could be 100% white and not be racist.
Right.
I mean,
and
it's
you could
possible.
have 99% black and still be racist.
One assumes it. I mean, it's a tougher construction, but it's possible. But the first half of it's absolutely true. You don't have to be. You don't have to be integrated. I mean, if it's a family of white people, that doesn't make them racist because they're all white people.
Right.
But the point is, the defense is, oh look, we have this person right over here. So the answer to all those questions is, but one of our members is married to the black justice on the Supreme Court.
Right.
So what you just addressed was not a problem for them. It's a solution.
It is something that does give me pause, though. I don't. Now, it may be cynically motivated by monetary concerns on her part, so she'll align herself with whomever seems prudent to be aligned with. It just would seem like Clarence Thomas at some point would have some type of dark night of the soul, saying, "Wow." I should be insulted by this, that my wife is involved with the Tea Party. But the Tea Party is in and of itself, like I said, if John McCain were president, or even if Hillary Clinton were president, now there'd be something astroturfing going on, some fake grassroots something going on.
Well, it'd be about Bill.
But it would be, they'd stand in her way just because she's a Democrat.
Right. Yeah, but using Bill rather than, so they wouldn't be perceived as attacking a woman.
Right.
I think they'd be a little bit more reluctant to do that than they are attacking
that's true.
an African American.
Although I would say misogyny does trump racism.
Shape, form, or fashion with the Tea Party.
Now, you asked me earlier if I was a member, and
you said that
I am affiliated with all of the organizations, and the Tea Party is one of the organizations.
So you are affiliated with the Tea Party?
I'm affiliated with every organization, even the black ministers.
Come on, Ms. Bergman.
Yes, sir.
BS me not, and I'm the wrong one to BS. Okay. You're a black Republican that is affiliated with the Tea Party. Is the Tea Party financing your campaign in any shape, form, or fashion?
You know, I would love for them to, but they're just as broke as I am.
So you're saying that no money has come to you from the Tea Party?
No.
You're saying that the Tea Party has never said that they endorse you and they're going to give you money?
In 2010, they endorsed me, but now they think that I'm a loose cannon.
8 times out of 10, though, in any social construct. So.
But when you get it out in front on the political, it doesn't work anymore on the political scale. It's one of these things. Even the Republicans try to, again, they throw women at the problem.
Right.
Right? So I think they're much more sensitive, not to the issue, but of being caught, being guilty of it, whereas they're still willing to dance along this unfortunate conga line of racism. They're still willing to trot that out.
Well, they will even call it the Southern strategy. I mean, like it actually is codified in a way, the Southern strategy, or the law and order vote, which is technically racist. Oh, that's what I should have said about the marijuana thing, the incarceration rate of people.
Yes. Oh well.
Darn it. Can we rewind?
No,
Go back?
no, because
that
was live. This is
Do
on
we have
the
an
internet.
app for that?
No, we don't have an app.
Okay.
I got a studio so far.
Got a studio for that.
You know how happy I am just to have a studio?
And it's nice.
I got a studio.
I don't need to shake your hand. Get your ass hell about my building. Go on out of my building. I'm scared because some of that whiteness might rub off on me.